hope he now has a laptop.
Well, we are hopeful that he will soon have a laptop. It's never easy. But then you see young people keep, moving and pushing.
Struggling to become better versions of themselves. But anyways, now joining us are the members of HELP-Gambia. Just a bit of background. HELP-Gambia is a registered non-profit in the Gambia with local and international-based volunteers, driven by their shared institutional mission to resilient communities by reducing risks and vulnerability of households to environmental pollution, climate change hazards, among others. To expand the conversation with members of HELP-Gambia is Alieu, Jallow, and Dawda. Cham. Welcome, gentlemen, to the AM show.
Thank you for having me again.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, even though that was just a brief background, now just give us a... Your mic is fine, you can have it on, but you can also take it off if you don't feel comfortable. That's good. Now, to begin with you, Dawda, tell us a bit of background about your organization away from what we just said.
Yes, so I think in summary, you've said all that we do. And before I move on, I would say thank you again to GRTS, especially the AM show crew, for always, answering to our call whenever we request for an airtime on your show. So HELP-Gambia, like you said, is an environmental organization that seeks to strengthen households' resilience to climate change and extreme weather events. So this is what we have been doing, and recently we started a project, and that is what we are here to talk to the public about. So I won't want to delve into that until later.
Sure, we'll get to that. That is Operation 500 Volunteers, which is on Trash-Free Gambia. So what does this project aim to ensure?
Yes, like we've said in this show, in the previous shows that we've been, that the Trash-Free Gambia was a project that we started in the Kanifing municipality, that is KMC. And when we started, we did not know that this was going to, get to this level. So we started cleaning the KM streets, that is from, Westfield all the way to Jimpex, and it was just great. People came out, and we thought it wise to actually extend it to other parts of the country. And the rationale is not just to clean, but also to tell the people the importance of keeping our environment clean. That is to inculcate that culture of environmental sanitation in the mindsets of people, because we understand that this is a problem in the country. A lot of people don't really care about the environment, and this is really important, because if the environment is not clean, then our lives are in danger. So this is what actually triggered us to take the project to other parts of the country, and already we have implemented it in KMC, in Brikama, and in Basse. So this is the fourth place that we are going to have it, that is in Farafenni. This Saturday, we're going to have a massive cleanup exercise. And with Farafenni, we are really impressed with the team on the ground. And people, organizations or associations like the Chaku Bantang Diaspora Network Association, they've taken ownership of this, and we are really grateful to them for all the support that they've been giving and the groundwork that they are doing ahead of the exercise. So I would stop here because I like talking a lot, and allow you to answer the question.
Before that, Alieu, well, looking at when it comes to pollution and littering, this has been an issue in the Gambia because we have had so many policies on littering. A fine of, I think, $500 or how much? 1,000 exactly if you are caught littering around. But still, people litter. So what has been some of the challenges in these areas in terms of communicating to community members, to individuals about this?
Thank you so much once again for being on this platform. Coming down to your question, we understand that waste is very expensive. Managing it also is another expensive issue where we talk about. If you look at the Gambia, we generate over 200,000 tons every day. This has nothing to deal with households and so many other investors. But then our attitude towards indiscriminate waste dumping is one of the biggest challenges that we at HELP-Gambia face, and not only we, but even the councils and also the national environmental agencies. Yes, we have beautiful crafted policies that are there, archived in the books, But at the end of the day, the implementation is one big issue because of the Maslaha syndrome that we have. Gambians will see that somebody will definitely litter or will open up as a sewage, and then it will just come to the street, and next minute nobody takes ownership of it, nobody reports, because if you try to report the next person, you are seen as an enemy of progress in society. So it becomes a biggest problem. And we face a lot of environmental hazards and pollutions due to our attitude towards it. So this Trash-Free project actually aims to minimize waste by 75% come 2025. This is why we harvest that culture of shared multi-stakeholder partnership to able to realize this particular goal, because we alone cannot do it. But when we involve other stakeholders, like GRTS is a stakeholder, the councils are stakeholders, the community on the ground are also stakeholders. With this, we will be able to realize this. And then by come 2030, we want to eliminate indiscriminate waste dumping by 100%. This is our aim. And then this is actually backed by our action-oriented move. So it has also inspired a lot of councils, like Dawda mentioned. We started it in KMC, just at KMC. That was just where the mindset ends. But then at the end of the day, it's expanded, and this has attracted international attentions.
All right. Interesting. I mean, we're talking about your partnership with councils as well. You've just recently partnered with the Basse Area Council for cleanup exercise. Talk to us about that.
Okay, with the Basse Area Council, the partnership has gone to the next level, because the council has actually taken a step further by making sure that they bring up the monthly cleaning exercise that was the session that was taking place during the former regime. This has been triggered by our move, for eliminating waste discrimination. And then the council is so passionate, because at the end, initially, they were skeptical as to the turnout, as to what we can do.
Okay.
But we had an overwhelming turnout, because the project targets 500 volunteers, but in Basse, it has superseded the 500 target. And the same thing is coming down to Farafenni, because
so
with
Farafenni,
Farafenni,
the people there are actually concerned about the
yeah, we had, because even the council itself had that mindset that when this is not achievable, because looking at Basse, it's a business center, and everybody is business focused. So they've had similar issues like that. So they felt like it was not going to work. But then we were able to convince them this is going to be a different thing, and then because of that, they are motivated.
Very well. I mean, Dawda, kindly share some of your activities so far in this endeavor, and what exactly you're looking at in the very short term.
Yes, like Alieu said, by 2025 we want to, at least eliminate indiscriminate waste dumping by 75%. So what we do in this Trash-Free project, like I said earlier, it's not just about cleaning a particular environment and then leaving that environment, because from experience, what we've had previously is when we clean a particular environment, if you go back there after the cleansing exercise, let's say 3 or 5 hours later, you find out that the place is dirty again. So now we've come up with new strategies. So for instance, if we're doing a cleansing exercise in Basse, we try to make sure we have sensitization programs, like one like this. Of course, we are on the TV, everybody is seeing us. Now people are trying to say, wow, okay, I think the next time if I'm in the street, I should be careful. When other people are out there trying to clean that environment, then I should not be the one. Let there be someone to litter, but not me. So the other thing we also do is to have a caravan where people speaking different languages would join to talk to the people. Hello, people, we are doing this cleanup tomorrow. We want everybody to join, but also we want people to be aware that our environment is, is important. We should keep it clean. So there we are sending a message. We are not stopping just there. the very day we take up actions. We have videos. I think it would have been wiser that we send those videos to you so that you play it while we are talking. You know, that's a...
Yeah, maybe you should have
yes,
brought it along.
yes, a dumping site where you have a lot of trash. So on Saturday, that is one of the targets that we're gonna. That's one of our targets that we want to clear that dumping site to make it very clean and advise people not to throw trash there anymore. Okay. The other thing is we want to try and engage the councils, because also, like for me, like every day, I would persuade 1 or 2 individuals in the street. Like if they throw, I will talk to them gently. Hello, I saw you throwing this. Do you think this is right? Some of them would say, no, it is not right. And I've learned from this, next time I won't do it. But what others complain to is that they don't find dustbins in the street where they can throw these trash. So I think it's important that the councils are also aware of this so that they could provide these dustbins in the streets where people can easily throw their trash. And the other challenge that councils have is that people would still steal those trash bins. So sometimes, if in fact even the ones that KMC plays in the streets, some people would come and break them and go and sell them as Ferrari.
Really?
So it's really crazy. So
they're
I
also
think
facing a lot.
exactly. So it all has to deal with the attitude of the people.
Yeah.
If I am able to, change myself, and the next person is also able to change themselves, then it's easy for us to develop.
Yeah.
But when one party is doing the work and you are destroying, then that makes the whole situation very difficult.
Just to add up to that, this all boils down to the implementation of those policies, because the anti-littering laws says that if you litter and you are caught, you have to pay $5,000. You understand? So this has not gone down well. If you look at it, if you ask the NEA, how many court cases have they had?
I was going to
over 5. When they the other time we had a meeting with them, they said they had over 500 pending cases.
Oh, wow.
And none of
that. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So if these policies are not implemented to the latter, because sometimes as Gambians we believe that if you set precedents, then others follow. It might sound a little bit harsh, but then this is the only way that we can.
Sometimes we can go about it. I mean, it's very interesting, and I quite agree. Yeah, but then the initiative you have held in 3 regions so far, namely KMC, Brikama Area Council, and now to Farafenni, right? Basse and Farafenni next. At Farafenni as well, what are you looking at? Let's talk about the responses in these areas.
Like I said, Farafenni, I think our experience in Farafenni already is great, because the people on the ground are taking ownership of this. It's even like they're the ones who came up with this idea, and then we are really, really grateful for that. The Chakubantang Diaspora Association did tremendously well. The Karawan Area Council also supported this initiative. We have the National Youth Council, because I don't want to leave here without talking about them, because they are the ones who are making this possible. We are the ones doing the action, but they are the ones putting their funds into this. And the National Disaster Management Agency is also giving us trucks for these for the waste to be carried. So right now, like I said, the groundwork is ongoing. At their level, the ground team is doing radio sensitization. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, they were on one of their community radios to talk to the people. Already they are mobilizing people. We have challenges with tools, but they've come up with a strategy where they're asking their people to come with their own tools, because we may not be able to provide all the tools. We are buying some tools from the little support that we got from the organizations that I've mentioned, but we still need more. So like he said, the project targets 500 people, but we are optimistic that in Farafenni we would exceed 500. We are looking up to 1,000. So already the team on the ground, they are doing well, and our regional coordinator, that is Sambu Diba, we want to really thank him for the coordination. We are really grateful. Today in the evening, a team will leave from HELP-Gambia to go and work with the ground team so that we can have a successful event.
All right. So I'm actually glad that you made mention of NDMA and making mention of Basse, that people are coming out in tons to appreciate this initiative. Because looking at Basse in terms of disaster, Basse is one of the regions that is highly affected. And recently, I think by NDMA, dug some sewages in order to allow the easy flow of water during the rainy season. But again, one of the challenges when you ask the people from Basse that they are facing is that people still use this easy flow way for water to dump.
Yeah, I think when we went to Basse, that was one of the areas.
It's a major challenge.
That was one of the areas that we really clean up, because that sewage was how do I say, was not catchy actually when you look at it, because the amount of waste that was dumped there was actually had some effects when it comes to the easy flow
what are the
of water.
enforcers doing in these areas? I mean, aren't they there and being so watchful about this?
Like I said, it all boils down to attitude. It all boils down to implementation. And like you said, in Farafenni, we've received videos from the people on the ground showing a lot of dumping areas that are actually not convincing. Because if you look at Farafenni itself, Farafenni is an entry point, which also has a vast business economic impact. You understand? So with that, they're faced with pollution. They're also faced with health hazards that comes as a result of the indiscriminate waste dumping that is done. So it's not only a business center, but it's also a tourist destinations area. So area like that deserves to be clean, so that it will attract a lot of tourism, and also the health aspect, because we're in the rainy season already, and then there are surge in the cases of malaria. So the only way we can avoid it is by making sure that the environment is clean.
I mean, it's important. Maybe what we'll do is in our subsequent programs, we'll have to also talk to the officials just to gauge their perception in terms of exactly what they're doing and making sure this is avoided.
Maybe you invite NEA and NDMA to engage them. Because what they also say, I think, like Alieu said, most of the things that we face here is that people have issues with, attitude. We have issues with attitude. But I think the other thing is our enforcers, or the people who are responsible for this, are really not acting in a way that people would really be responsive to some of these things that they are trying to implement. So I think it's better that they start to take up actions, because I think sometimes this is what I say, Gambians want it in the hard way. So the Maslaha syndrome, we cannot allow the Maslaha syndrome to put us in trouble. So some of these things we can, avoid the situation. So it's better we implement these things, we enforce them. When you see someone throwing trash, let us have inspectors. Because the last time I went to KMC, we had an exercise with them. The director of services told me that they are trying to work. They are working on trying to get inspectors. These are people who will be out there to observe, and anybody who is found wanting will actually face the due course of the law. That is, you pay from $1,000 to $5,000. So the court decides how much you pay. Trucks now are being responsive to this, because the director of services told me that they've actually had cases where truck drivers were asked to pay a certain amount for violating some of these laws. So I think the people too need to test from this, so that at least if they see one or two examples, they would start to actually be responsive to some of these things that we are trying to.
Very well done. I mean, it's been a very fruitful conversation. But just going forward, just tell us briefly, what you would advise the general public in terms of your plans you have in this area.
Yes, just to tell the people, the environment is ours. Whatever we do to the environment is either it's two ways. Either we take care of the environment, or the environment take care of us. So it's better we take care of the environment. We promote good hygiene. We develop so rapidly than allowing the environment to be destroyed and have an impact on our health and our progress as a nation. So again, I want to thank the donors who actually supported this. That is Chakubantang Diaspora Network Association, the National Youth Council, NDMA. You have NEA, you also have the Kerawan Area Council. They are the ones who really supported this, and we really appreciate every penny that you invested in this.
Well, thank you so much for that, and we hope that people will adhere to everything that you have said, and also implementing officers like to also endeavor to implement some of these policies, because policies without implementation, obviously it's not a policy, it's just a like sleeping dogs.
Maybe if
but
there is more time, I think that is one of our next target, trying to make sure that we work with the policy implementation agencies to making sure that these policies are really implemented to the latter, because we want the Gambia to be one of the cleanest countries so far in the whole world, especially Africa, because the name is there, Smiling Coast of West Africa, but it's rather unfortunate that the way waste is actually rearing its ugly head in society cannot just come on straight with the name Smiling.
I'm sure we'll get to have you guys back again so we can talk about this more, because if we have to discuss on this, obviously it's going to take the whole day, but we'll have you guys on other episodes.
Right. Finally, it's been great talking to you here in the studio, and we look forward to this very initiative and more of such as well.
Thank you for having us.
With that, we go on a short break and be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the AM show. I'm afraid we've come all to the end of today's edition. Well,
yeah, obviously we are drawing down the curtains, but before we go, a special thanks to our very own producer Fatou Janembaye and assistant producer Famara Baji, our technician
Baba Silla.
Oh, Baba Silla,
Baba Silla has been the able director
today, and the camera crew,
right.
And others.
Well, special thanks to our MCR crew as well, the Lamin Ture, Asito Cham, Emily Baz, but also our engineers, Mary Gomez, Alieu Gassama, supervisor there is Joseph Sang Mendy, King Joe as well, and our camera operators have been Julius Mendy and Amiso. Until we come your way again next week, don't forget that the weekend edition of the AM show would be on Saturday. That would be another interesting one you don't want to miss. Until then,
have a good day.